And with the latest on this, we go to CTV's Murray Oliver. He joins us on the line, and he has just been at the home of the family of victim Tim McLean. Murray, what is the family saying at this point?
Hi, Jacqueline. The family isn't saying much. They are very upset, both with the media and with the RCMP, who they feel have not been very forthcoming with information. We spoke to Tim's sister, the victim's sister, on the doorstep of the house. She was polite, but she told us that, in fact, they didn't know that Tim was the victim in this crime until last night when a journalist came to their house and knocked on the door and said, "Did you know that your son has been killed by this man in this terrible act on the bus?" So obviously they're wondering, why did the RCMP not come and inform the family for such a long time? They're not very happy, and we, in fact, as we stood there, an RCMP officer arrived, obviously coming to talk further with the family and provide more information, but she received a chilly reception, to say the least.
They must have many other questions. Did they share any of those, or what they said was quite limited?
The family doesn't seem to be all in one place at this moment. I'm hearing reports that the mother was actually away on a cruise in Alaska when this happened and is only just now flying back into Winnipeg. So everyone is trying to come back together. And Tim's sister told us that the family feels they really can't say a word, not even to speak about Tim's life, until they can assemble the family together and they can come up with a joint statement that they can issue as a united family. Because at the moment, I think that there are sort of family members so widely scattered that they're just hesitant to say anything, and in fact they wouldn't speak on camera or in fact to any reporters for more than just a few moments.
You mentioned you spoke with Tim's sister. Any sense of how they are handling this, their emotional state? One can only imagine that, you know, they're overcome with sorrow but also shock, anger, I would think.
I would say so. I think they are trying to understand, like the rest of us are, how such an awful crime could be visited on their family member. By all accounts, Tim was a terrific guy, funny, warm, a very giving person. I mean, you just cannot find anyone to say a bad word about this young guy. And I think shock is a word that we use sometimes to perhaps, maybe sometimes it becomes a bit of a cliche in talking about these situations. But that was exactly what's written on the face of the family members that we saw. They are just in shock. They can't believe it. And they are still trying to understand why they're not learning more about what happened and why it took so long for them to find out that, in fact, Tim was the one who had been killed in this awful crime. And, of course, like everyone else, they had been watching the news. They were following the story and were horrified. And, of course, then to get the knock on the door and find out that it's your son, it's your brother.
Right.
I can't imagine how it must have been for them, and that shock is written on their faces, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and I know, obviously, what we're seeing and hearing in terms of the Facebook site that is set up and the many condolences and thoughts that are with this family. Obviously, many Canadians reacting the same way, with shock, and everyone has questions. All right, we want to thank CTV's Murray Oliver for that update, and Murray, we'll talk to you again. Thank you.
Thanks, Jacqueline.